Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be in the world, and welcome to another thrilling episode of Living World of Darkness Rage Across New York. In this particular scene, we will be zooming in on Maeve and Katori in the wake of their visit with Kachina to the Umbra, and she is still quite packed with energy in the wake of meeting another of many of the larger spirits that she would never have been able to find on her own. And as such, the enthusiasm is spilling out, and so she will be every piece the romping puppy as they head back into the sept.
Yes, look at the puzzled face of your grandfather as you probably run around in circles as he just trots.
She may be a little old for romping, but that is not going to stop her. Besides, she's very much enjoying the ability to outwardly express how she feels in this form, whereas it's much more difficult when you're supposed to be a composed human being. Being able to romp and jump and prance around and have a good old time is just, it's very liberating. She seems to be getting more and more comfortable in her furred form. Katori, did I tell you that Lucas caught a rabbit too?
He just stops. What?
Yeah, when we were hunting. Kailani grabbed me and grabbed Emmett. She said that he needs more practice being on four paws. And we all went hunting, and Lucas went with us. And so we all caught rabbits, and Lucas caught a rabbit. He caught it with his hat.
Uh, so are you saying Kalyani just went to you and say, "Let's go hunt"?
Yeah.
And he just puts his paw on his muzzle.
She said we needed practice, and there were lots of rabbits.
Where did you go hunt? Where did you go hunting?
She'll gesture. There's I out of play totally don't remember, but there's a meadow that Kailani frequents and usually does her hunting. Or
Okay.
it's in a wide zone of where Kailani does her hunting because she doesn't want to overhunt one particular area.
Okay. Okay, so it's just rabbit hunt near this place. Okay.
It was just one. I told her I didn't feel very comfortable hunting a lot of extra. I'd already eaten, but we took our two and gave them to the kinfolk. She said one of the stargazers knows how to prepare them really well.
Uh-huh. Can you describe me your hunt exactly?
And she'll noddle and probably, unless he's stopping, we'll just trot and talk at the same time. If he stops, she'll plop down on her flanks. So she will plop down on her flanks for story time and kind of lift her head a bit. I like doing that eye roll that most humans do when they're trying to recall something, that kind of looking outwards / inwards. But she'll nod and finally go, well, Kailani brought us, and, well, she told us to meet her, and then she hid. So we had to find her first. And Emmett was better at that. But then...
how did you try to find her?
She'll kind of paw her nose. Like a little brush with her wrist. I tried to snuff her out.
How?
Just sniffing.
Show me how you sniff.
Blink. And she'll kind of glance around for anything that might be a point of interest nearby on the ground. No. Anything that might smell like more than dirt, really. And she'll take a couple steps, nose around a little, look around a little, and finally start snuffling.
So exactly how is she snuffling?
She's not looking for anything uncanny. It's just literally scenting, trying to track that way.
I'm going to be more precise. Does she put her nose on the ground trying to sniff, or is she going, like oh yeah, like I saw in the movies, I put my nose in the air and I send things. Like, oh yeah, totally send things.
Well,
That's what he wants to
she'll
see.
potentially start that way to look for a starting point, kind of try to find an idea of what's interesting. She also does a really funny thing where she pauses for a second and fiddles her ears around and then suddenly looks like she's oriented and trots over to whatever it is and starts. She doesn't shove her nose in
Mhm.
it, but she definitely gets her nose down and snuffs.
Okay. Hmm. Uh, well, at least you are doing better than Xavier the first time. He tried to sniff the air continuously.
Well, I didn't have a starting part for Kailani. I didn't have a place to
Well,
start tracking from, so I didn't do very well.
okay. Hmm.
And she'll bat at one of her big old ears, kind of like poke it with a paw. She also told me how you can tell which way the wind's blowing by feeling it on your ears because they're more sensitive, so that I can be downwind.
Hmm. Yes, generally it's better because if your scent goes the wrong way, then you'll get sent, and then guess what? Either your prey will get away, or they're going to think, well, there's this wolf in this bush. Maybe I should tuck it and rip its inside.
She kind of looks a little shocked by that idea, considering it was rabbits, and trying to imagine a rabbit being like, "Oh, hey, a wolf, get it!" It's a little. She's being a little too literal, but then she'll blink and go, "Oh yeah, it makes sense.
Hmm.
It's still a good lesson overall
Hmm.
about the wind." Poke
Yes,
her nose up.
no, wind, wind is useful, but yes, use you should use your fur. Generally, it is hard for humans to understand it since, well, you're kind of badly equipped.
It just feels warm.
Mm.
That's why she said to use my ears, and she kind of swivel wobbles them around. It's kind of silly, let's be honest.
Yeah, you're making a concerto of 360s with your
Well, no,
ears.
she just kind of like her ears just wobble and flop a little bit.
Mm.
It's kind of it's very silly, yes.
Mm.
Not quite 360s, but it's like flip flopping.
Mm. Well, you'll have to you'll have to adjust to this body. Your sense, as you might have guessed, they are way higher. Except, well, your sense of sight. You're not as bad as a bear, but let's be honest. You're going to use more of your sense of smell and your sense of hearing rather than your sense of sight.
She
Of
bobs her
course,
head.
of course, depending on exactly what you do. I think I should try to make you fish.
Fish?
Yes, hunt fish. That is
Wouldn't that be
actually a
really
good
hard?
exercise. And he just smiles and say, "Well, that's the whole point." And also, fish are delicious, and they are tricky also because you don't want to eat one of their bones and get it stuck in your throat.
She pokes her tongue out. Bleh.
Hmm.
Nope. Well, that and I guess, I mean, it's not like they're dangerous to hunt.
Hmm. Well, it depends. I guess sharks can be considered dangerous, and they are fish.
Wouldn't we have to like be swimming out in the middle of the ocean to hunt a shark? That seems like just a bad idea overall.
He just chuckles. Oh, you poor summer child. Yes, he made a Game of Thrones reference, but he doesn't know it.
She drops her ears
What
a little.
what Harold told you about the existence of other changers?
Oh no, I heard about the shark. It bit Emmett's arm off.
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
sometimes the shark he can come on land, but that's rare apparently.
I bet you they don't like it.
Mm, well, dolphin doesn't like it.
I mean, it makes sense. They aren't built to be on land. It must not be comfortable.
Mm, yep.
I mean, I had to relearn how to walk a little bit, but they have to learn how to breathe. That's just
Mm,
weird.
mm, yep. I guess, and also probably not think that yeah they should chew the first thing that they see, overthink things that bleed.
Yeah.
Hmm. All right, so you went hunting. All right.
Hmm.
So you tried to find her. Okay. Emmett found her. I get that. And after that, what did you guys do exactly for the hunt of rabbits?
Well, first we tracked Lucas and chased him, and then we.
Did you bite his ankles?
No, but I kept up really well. Emmett bit
Hmm.
his ankles. Actually, Kailani bit his ankles.
Aha! Now you see. And he just, points at you. You should bite the ankle.
Why would I want to bite his ankles?
Well, first, it's a lesson. That he should run faster.
He was
And
pretty
second,
fast.
yes, but it's also fun. I
It was
mean,
very fun.
I mean, I don't generally bite kinfolk's ankles. I just hide their socks and watch them run around trying to catch me with their socks. You hobbits need more exercise.
I'm getting lots of it. The last couple days have been relaxing, but Callie was running me till I dropped before.
Hmm. And so, after running after the poor kinfolk,
Then she took us to the meadow where she knows some of the rabbits will come out at night to eat and forage. And I did a really good job of finding them.
hmm
And we went downwind
hmm
and we crept up and we actually all did a pretty good job. Except that Emmett reduced his to chunky bite-sized kibbles. He attacked it like it was a worm thing, not a rabbit. So
what
he
do
had
you
to eat
mean?
his.
Did he went Krynos?
No, not quite that bad, but he did kind of there was a fine red mist involved.
Okay.
Kailani likes to use the word murderized. He murderized it.
Oh, well, I mean, that's kind of a point of hunting things.
Well, he didn't just kill it. He tore it apart. He got a little enthusiastic.
Uh-huh. And then?
And then I crept up on mine and I jumped on it and I grabbed it by the neck and she shakes her head. She's like, and I snapped it.
Okay. And then?
And then Kailani went after one of the ones that was running and she got it. And then the other one that was running, Lucas found a place to hide near one of the burrows and he scooped it up in his hat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we brought our kills back. And then we painted the bunny's nails so that Kailani would know not to kill the one that he caught and let it go. And then Kailani took the kills to the stargazers.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, she starts looking perplexed. She feels like there's something she missed because he looks expectant, but that's all she's got.
So, let me get this straight. You went hunting rabbits. You killed rabbits, or didn't kill them right away, and then you brought them to to the stargazer kinfolk, so they killed them and cooked them.
Yeah, we killed them and then brought them to the kinfolk so that they could store them.
And did Kalyani did anything?
Well, I mean, she made tea afterwards.
You see that Kotori stays silent for longer than he does generally, and his ears are flattened in a very displeased way.
She'll actually
And
fold her ears in a very deferential fashion and start lowering her head a little bit.
he sigh and he just walks off.
She'll look confused for a second and look after him and ponder how good an idea it is, and then very carefully, keeping a little lower than normal, again, in an attempt to look smaller and just kind of follow, not close by, but, trail behind him.
He walks. He's as you start to walk, his ears they perk. They perk a little bit, pointing into your direction, clearly indicating that he knows you're following him.
Yep.
And he continues. He continues his little trot before going to one of the lake.
And she'll follow along. She'll keep her distance because she's clearly annoyed him somehow. And she doesn't want to get smacked at or nipped at, but she'll follow along.
And then he is going to sit near the lake, and he's going to wait for her to arrive.
She'll follow, and then when he gets settled, when he sits, she'll pull a little closer, still out of like striking range per se, but she'll follow along and a little bit back from him, kind of sit and scooch herself down.
What do you see when you look in the lake?
She'll rouse up to circle closer to the water's edge. She'll still give him some space, but she'll
probably unconsciously she remembers the first time she went near a lake.
She not only remembers, but he does look annoyed. So all in all, it just seems good to give him space. But yeah, she'll go a little bit down from him and kind of peer in the water, keeping an ear swiveled his way the whole time. And I mean, unless there's anything markedly there, she'll
fishes, as stated in the group chat. You see fishes, as I said in the group chat.
Oh, sorry. Ta-da! I totally missed that. Yep. So she'll creep along and get just to the point where her paws aren't quite hitting water. Little minnows, maybe some bigger ones out. Kind of peer further in.
What is their purpose?
And she'll think about it. Feed each other. Probably some of them are the kind that clean the lake. Feed us, feed the bear.
So, they are essential to your survival. Just
she'll nod.
as any other below them is essential to their survival.
She'll nod again.
What have you learned about everything? What have you learned about us? What have you learned about them? What have I told you about spirits?
Well, I asked Kailani if the spirits would be angry if we hunted rabbit, but she said she hunts rabbit all the time.
Hmm. That's the question that you ask. Would the rabbit be would the spirits be angry because you hunt rabbit? Of course not, they wouldn't. Unless they are protected, unless they have a particular thing that makes it bad for you to hunt them. But yes, you might be on the right tracks. It's a thing
No,
about spirits.
I mean, if everything has a spirit and we're always talking to the spirits, if I hunted rabbits every day, wouldn't the rabbit spirit not want to talk to me anymore?
I think you should go beyond the would the rabbit spirit wouldn't want to talk to me anymore. I think it's more of a fact that you're just grasping the answer, rethink about what you just said.
She'll knit her brow and sit again and do some thinking. I don't I don't know.
You can make me a hmm, mm, 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 mm. You're going to use occult for this one, and your wits. We're not going to go with pure intelligence in this one. Difficulty standard.
Well, that's two.
So we have two success. You know that Kotori is setting you on the track about spirits, and he's saying that you're probing into the right direction. And what you said is every creature has a spirit. Maybe this is the road that he wants you to think about.
Do
Not
we
necessarily.
do
Not
something
necessarily.
like
Yeah. Hmm.
give chiminage in a way for taking the rabbit?
And he looks at you with a little less hardened look. Well, it seems like you might be grasping something here. The animals, the plants, everything has a spirit. You're killing an animal because it feeds you. As such, he is part of a circle of life, and he died because he needs to die, not because you enjoy it, not because it is good to kill things, and because you enjoy feeling their life goes away under your claws and your fangs. You do it because it is essential to your survival, because for you to live on, one must sacrifice their life for you to live. For you and the others to not chiminage in this right might not be the right description, but it is close. Not saying that you are thankful for the sacrifice of this creature so that you could survive another day is indeed can be seen as disrespectful. Oh, the spirit, they are not going to shun you down for it. After all, you need to feed, but if you start to make an habit out of it, and like Emmett just go on a rampage, because, oh well, I'm excited, it's a hunt, and all. And yeah, but it's generally something that Hamids have a difficulty to grasp. They think, oh well, I mean, it's just a rabbit. It's just
She
something that I need
starts to
to
look
eat,
a little sheepish.
so why would I care?
No, I should have thought of that.
How could you really thought about it when the worm foe and another elder, one of your elders were with you? Shouldn't they, as one of them is a lupus, have thought about it?
Well, yes,
When
but
you're just a cub right now, you're still learning. You're the one who asks questions. I don't expect you to resolve any of your problems. I expect you to make mistakes because this is how you learn. This is how you grow up. If you knew all the answers, then what would be the point of learning anything new?
she bobs her head. Kachina said something like that. I liked it.
Hmm.
She says you
Katina
have to know how to
says,
ask for help in order to get help. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing the answers or not knowing how to do something as long as you're humble enough to ask for help or ask questions.
some might disagree. Some might say, oh, well, it's a show of weakness and I can show weakness. But, yes. So, now is a little bit late for it. But, I guess I can't really say anything to those two outside of giving them my judgmental stare until they ask, but why are you looking at us with this stare, nothing, saying nothing? Yeah, or I should get a spirit on their asses, saying that they should be ashamed of themselves. But anyway, tell me, do you know how to properly enact rituals of a nation?
She shakes her head. I watched very closely while Kachina was doing something. I think I may be catching on to it.
So I'm going to ask a question out of character. Does May have at least ritual 1?
Oh, she has rituals 3.
Good. Have you been learning anything? This is out of character. Have you been have May been in the process of learning a ritual?
Actually, pardon, it wasn't Kachina. It was Travis was binding spirits to cookies and energy drinks. So I have her, in theory, in the process of learning the rite of binding. But I do not mind dropping it if you want to teach her a minor instead.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, Kotori can teach many things. Yes, lots of rights. I has lots of them.
If he makes a point of teaching her something, I will drop that right and
yeah,
what he's doing.
Well, I mean, he's going to make you learn something right now.
That's fine. I'll drop the one that she's in the process of and take this one instead.
So basically, what he's going to do is actually start to teach her the prayer of a praise so that she knows and she can point out to people who make mistakes. Yay, shaming.
Shame.
So yes, so he's going to point the lake and say, "Go on, hunt a fish."
She looks at the water like it has betrayed her. And she'll kind of look around, mostly minnows at the edge, so she'll wade in a little bit, get to where she can get something big enough to get her mouth around, maybe look for something like a log sticking into the water, maybe some rocks, something like that a bigger fish might hide under or around. And she'll wade over and get settled and just stare at the water with her ears perked. Wait for the fish to get settled, start just doing their lazy thing.
So, reassure me, please. You're not taking a rock or a stick to hunt the fish, right?
Oh no! It's just that if there's like a log fallen into the water, large fish are more likely to be hunting around it or hanging around it. So she's looking for something like that to use as a point to hunt from, because she has enough common sense to realize that if she wades in after it, it'll take forever for for something to calm down enough for her to make a shot at it. At least that way she can be standing up on something looking into the water.
Mm-hmm. And make me a dex survival.
And actually, if we did our XP, shall I use that? The point I just bought?
Well, I think that it should have been approved. So let's think that you have survival 1.
Well, I should have 2 now.
Oh, good.
Yes. Slightly more dots. Aha! 2 successes.
Aha! But I'm an asshole. I will roll for the fish.
How dare you?
Oh,
You've betrayed me.
Oh, yes, I dare. I dare. Oh yeah, the fish doesn't care. The fish doesn't care.
That fish gets the fuck out.
Yeah.
And now she has a wet face.
Katsuri laughs a little bit. So that's a valiant effort.
She'll shake the water off of her face.
So you get the right idea. But here you need to concentrate, and actually I would have recommended you to go into the water. Of course, not jump, but sometimes it can help. As you're here on the verge of this lake, and it's not like that. The fish they don't like you, but generally don't go much to the verge. They prefer to stay a little bit far ahead.
She'll huff and start wading. Come back around to the lip of it and start wading in. She's determined to do this now.
All right.
So she'll wade in, probably up to her belly.
All right. So as you wait, I will lower the difficulty to 5.
Then she'll wait again, wait for the fish to start just doing their normal lazy swimming, hopefully ignoring her legs.
Well, it takes a little while, but yeah, after a fact, they think, well, it's just wet log, and it's new and actually might be even interesting.
So she'll wait for it and wait for it. She's got a surprising amount of patience because she wants to get this. So she'll wait for it. And
are you saying that you spend a willpower for this glorious?
Actually, sure. She spends a willpower. She's pretty stubbornly determined. So yeah, I'll spend a willpower.
Destroy
and
the fish.
And once they're settled, she'll go for it again and do much better this time.
Yeah.
So 5 successes.
Yeah, you bit Mr. Fish, who was way too curious.
And then she will turn around and come prancing out of the lake with her "I did it" face on. and this thing flopping around, smacking her in the face.
Yeah. He knows he's defeated, but yeah, he will not go out without a fight. He was he's a fish born under the full moon. He's a warrior of his race.
A warrior.
He will smack the ever living shit out of you.
Her head's probably getting shaken around by how vigorously it's flapping around, but she very determinedly will trot back up onto the land, well away from the water, so it doesn't do something silly like flop back in and make her look like an idiot.
Kotori, looks proud at you from his demeanor, as he seems more cool, but he still has a very serious, look on his face. Don't toy with your food. Have mercy.
She's actually not quite as adept. Like, she knows how to kill small game. She understands the neck snapping. But this one, the only way she knows how to kill it is to just crunch on it. So she'll do that fairly promptly. Because if she drops it, she's going to have a hell of a time catching the head. So she'll crunch it far enough to sever the spine.
And this is the end of Shining Scale warrior of his race. Adrian level. And yeah, Kotori Vane waits for you, and well, he shows you a small part of grass where he gestures you to drop the fish.
And she'll bleh onto the grass. She'll actually place it
Yeah.
down fairly gingerly.
Mm-hmm. And then he he bows his head to the fish, and he starts to speak in the first tongue of the Guru, thanking the fish for sacrificing his life so that others may live through his sacrifice, and that his spirit may found his brothers and sisters in the umbral realm.
And she'll perk her ears and listen. She doesn't understand the language, of course, but she's still listening closely. You get the impression she may even be trying to memorize the words as he's saying them so that she can do it properly. She's a very intent student.
And he starts to enact a small chant of growl with the back of his throat, which is not really an owl, but would if Mabe actually have heard, it seems like a very shamanic, very almost tantric chant.
Actually, she'll probably be okay with that. It's not the same language as the ones that she's been taught for chanting, but it's still a familiar process.
Mm-hmm. And well, let's see if Mabe gets all the things. So so it's a minor right. It's a minor right. So which is something that I love. You know that all the rights have roles and difficulties, and like the minor rights, they have none. Yet you still have to roll. So I guess we're going to go with the let's go with wits, just like the mystic rites. Wits ritual difficulty being minus your mighty intelligence. And
so it's what,
only,
10 minus your intelligence?
yes.
Okay, so 7.
Yes, it should be that.
All right, so wits and rituals, I assume?
Yeah, let's go with that. I'm just checking with the learning right if they made something. Extended
Okay.
action, have ritual knowledge that we know. Okay, so no, your role is actually intelligence plus ritual, so you will have probably more dice than with your wits.
Actually, mine are even.
Wow. And so yeah, your difficulty will be 7, and you only need 1 success since it's a minor, right? And if you fail, you can do it once again 3 days later.
All right.
However, if you botch, you are not ready.
Oh, well, here, let's cross our fingers. Can I spend a willpower on it?
Sure.
All right, let me mark these off so I don't forget I've done it. Boop. Oh, yeah, I got it.
And yeah, you should be more confident.
I'm not.
Says the lupus sphere to succeed most of his dice rolls at difficulty 9 and fail miserably for difficulty 3. Yes, this is my curse. When it's too easy, I can only fail. And yes, things seems to click in this young Fianna's mind as yeah, she's actually starting to understand that pretty much, even if she doesn't understand some of the language or chanting that Kotori is using, she actually gets the idea that it's not necessarily the language that is important, but more the intention that you put behind it.
Well, all right. Yeah, she'll pick up on it pretty quickly. It's not too dissimilar to similar rituals she's done in Hamid. It makes sense. So yeah, she'll catch on and seem to be. You can obviously you can tell
Mhm.
immediately body language wise when it kind of clicks and she gets what he's
Mm.
doing. She perks up more and
Hmm.
looks fairly intent.
And then he's going to get up after finishing his little chant and goes, well, um, now this is a tricky question. Who is going to eat first?
You are
Why?
first of the kill to the greater in station.
Good. But also, I shouldn't eat first because, well, you haven't eaten fish raw, haven't you?
My parents had me try sushi once when I was younger, but I don't think it'll be the same.
Um, strange fish from the glyph place doesn't count. I'm
How do
talking
you eat it
about.
without getting bones in your throat?
Well, that's what I'm going to show you. And he goes to the fish. Well, it's not a very big fish. It's not a very big fish, but he actually shows her as well, contrary probably to rabbits, where you can just uh, kind of break the bones and eat the succulous substance that reside inside those succulent bones. So enjoy the sound of cracking. Um, you can see that actually Kotori is using one of his paw to keep the fish in place, and very delicately, actually, he seems to peel away parts of a fish, and even if, well, sometimes obviously there are some of the fish bone who well who will be going uh, in his throat. He is actually pretty dedicated in his work. So you see, you need to be very careful. Well, it's almost when you play with a porcupine. It's funny until you get the end, the pointy end on your muzzle.
You played with a porcupine?
My sister did. She likes to play with porcupines. Oh,
It doesn't.
you think it's funny? Well,
It does.
wait until you get you get to the pointy stick.
Oh no, no, no. I just think it's funny that she thought it was a good idea.
Mm, yeah, she's always curious.
I hope
All
I am
right.
never quite that curious.
Oh, believe me, those porcupines with their pointy heads. Sometimes they seem so shiny, and you just want to touch it because it's funny when they panic and they go around and it just go whoosh 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 whoosh. But yeah, need to be careful.
She'll nod.
All right, and it's up to you. And he goes. He just takes a few steps back and say, "I'm sorry, I don't have rice to go with it."
It'd be kind of funny if you did.
I will take notes, and I will make sure to have rice next time.
So she'll creep up to it once he's backed off of it, and at least make a real college try at trying to peel the flesh off of the fish without getting a mouthful of bones. That's just for fun. See how well she does. What? Dex survival? I guess. Just to see how tragic this gets.
I would say probably wits. I would say probably wits. Yeah, because it's a fish. There's this.
I rolled too many dice anyways, so let's do this again. Wit survival, just to see. Oh, she does better.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky because at some point, you can see that Kotori, he ate he ate some parts. He ate some parts, but some he left. Some he left, and then yeah, it's sometimes a little bit difficult to go around it, but yeah, you kind of get the grasp of it as
And just for
yeah,
fun, I'm
the
going to
bone.
roll Primal Urge to see how well she does with it. Just to see how much she likes it. Oh, she's apparently catching on pretty well to being wolfy, so she doesn't mind the taste at all.
Yeah, actually, it's fresher than a sushi place.
So yeah, she'll take to carefully nibbling at it in an attempt to not look stupid, and then perhaps with a little more enthusiasm once she's gotten a proper taste of it. And any bones that come up, she will make a point of crushing into nothing.
All right. Then yeah, Kotori nods approvingly, and he's just going to get up and say, "All right. Mm, hmm." He looks at the horizon. Well, uh, I think we should get somewhere to sleep. Hmm. And he's thinking a little bit. Actually, you're not going to get back home for the next 3 days.
Hmm?
Oh yes, young lady. You're going to go to the den's father den for 3 days.
And sleep there?
Yes.
She'll look thoughtful for a second, but she'll nod.
Hmm.
Tell Callie so she doesn't worry.
Yes, I will take Callie. And also, unless you expressively have to go out of the sept, you will stay in this lupus form over the next 3 days.
She'll flop her ears a little. But I can't talk to Lucas like this. Hilariously, that is her one issue.
And he kind of, have this kind of strange wolfish grin. Well, I guess that maybe your next exercise is going to be morphing your vocal cords.
But
And he starts to walk.
She looks crestfallen, but it doesn't work.
He turns, and then you're going to make it work because,
She
well,
has.
because if you can't if you can't morph your own vocal cords, then I guess you won't be able to speak to Lucas during 3 days. I think he
She
would
looks
be he would be
completely.
distraught.
She looks completely. She's done. She just kind of flops on the ground. But I can't. I tried really hard.
He just gets back, like dominating her, uh, by since she's flopped on the ground. You've tried, huh?
She bobbles her head.
Well, show me how much you tried.
What's the role? Or actually, it doesn't matter. She will. She'll sit up. She still looks crestfallen, but she'll sit up, and she understands the process of shifting. And actually, what's the role to do that versus what's the role to shift?
Basically, when you want to shift, it's a stamina primal urge roll.
And when you want to do a partial shift,
For the partial shift, it still kind of is the same. But generally, uh, generally how it goes here, for the for the vocal course change, it's pretty much ignored and just goes as an instant action. But for you, generally, if we go according to the rules book, you're supposed to spend a willpower to uh, to morph a vocal cord.
yeah, she has no partial transformations. She's not capable of
Mhm.
doing it. So she will try really, really hard and go into Krynos and look really distraught. She's still kind of flumped. She has all the same like crestfallen body language. She's just a lot bigger right now.
And he kind of looks at her. Well, that's not really what I had in mind.
She's still got the ears folded, all the same submissive body posture, which is probably really funny to see in a Krynos.
You need to understand understand how exactly your transformation goes. You think that I need to transform so your body do the work for you, but this is not how it works. If you concentrate long enough, you will be able to make those partial changes. You need to focus only on your vocal cords, only on those. I'm not asking you to make claws out of your hobbit body. You need to be attuned with this parcel of humanity that you have the bit of having. Think about the sound that your throat makes when you articulate the sound.
She'll make that weird wolf speak groan and downshift back to Lupus. I'll just assume that she takes her time with it this time and goes
Mhm.
fairly well back down into Lupus and starts looking like she might explode again. She's concentrating super hard. But even given a long period of time and a long period of effort on her part, every time that she speaks, it is in wolf speak.
Kotori just clap his tongue. Uh, Obviously, obviously, uh, disappointed.
She looks even more downtrodden. She hates disappointing.
Okay. What exactly? Describe me how you feel when you change. What goes wrong? As he just you know goes into his body starts to change a little bit as I'm going to make my own
I would
stamina
say
primal
if you want
urge.
to make,
Mhm.
if you want to just take your time on whatever you're doing, you're welcome to. Though if he messes up, it would be really funny.
Okay. Rawr. But yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. He bloop, he starts to actually, start to change one of his paws, which starts to take a more shape, a shape more attuned to one of the Krynos. Maybe, maybe I am asking a little bit too much for this one. Hmm.
It just doesn't happen. I do the same thing that I do when I change shapes, but nothing happens.
Hmm. Perhaps it is that you need encouragement.
Blank.
You need a reason to want to do it.
She flumps.
Uh, and actually, something very funny. Uh, I've been working on one instance, as it is because I'm rechecking the partial transformation. It is actually a text primal urge, difficulty 9, and you need to spend a willpower. But that's the whole point that he's making.
So if I spend a willpower and do Dex Primal Urge, she can do it
Difficulty
at a
9.
difficulty 9.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes. So he will go he will go and say, well, maybe the impossibility that you have to communicate with Lucas will be a motivation high enough to give you the will to change. I will restate my judgment. But yes, at least for the whole day tomorrow, you shall be only a wolf inside the sept.
Not.
And then, yes, well, if you don't feel that you can communicate with Lucas, then I suggest that he thinks, well, you can always take you can always take a pen and try to write something on a sheet of paper.
She'll bob her head obediently.
I will go and see how this goes. But yes, don't think that just because you can communicate with Lucas by words, communication is impossible. Don't think like a Hamid. There are other ways to understand each other's just outside of pure speech. And with that, he trots away, clearly indicating that she needs to follow.
She'll hop back up on her feet and Actually, she'll pause a second to fling the little remainder of the carcass from the fish back into the lake so it can get taken up by scavengers, and then she'll follow.
And they will arrive to the great tree of Kotori, where he has elected his den. Yes, she has already seen it. For a second, I was like, "Has she seen it?" But she hasn't seen the interior.
She has not.
And Kotori goes inside the hole, and it's actually quite spacious, but it's kind of tricky actually to get in because there are all those roots from the tree, bearing passage as you have to stretch and do quite the athletics parkour, as you can probably guess that you can't really enter as a hobbit. And the more you enter, the more you start to see bones laying on the ground, made probably of things that Kotori brought back and ate. And as you reach the inside of this den, which is quite spacious, well, it's not an apartment, of course, but it's a nice place to stay. Can you make me a perception alertness?
Alrighty. Scroll back up here. Got 2.
Okay, you see that something is moving. It's
Besides
not Kotori.
him?
Yeah, it's not Kotori.
So she's squirmed her way in and is looking around and something moves and she'll pause and hunker down to watch. Eyes up, ears up and everything else.
Those are snakes.
There's doubt in them eyes. Are they anything that she'd recognize offhand as a venomous type of snake?
Do you have animal kin? Do you have animal kin?
Actually, I do have a dot now.
Well, you might make a intelligent dot with your famous animal kin dot.
I don't know shit. In fact, I think everything is wrong in the world.
Yeah. Those are totally not venomous. I mean, come on, seriously. Those are clearly
garden snakes. Totally harmless.
Exactly. Totally harmless. And Kotori just goes and actually he takes something out of his bag, and you can see that they are two smaller rabbits that he lays on the ground, and you see that the snakes actually goes and start to do their job. Nom, nom, ruh, ruh. eating the rabbits, and he do something very weird. As you can see that is he like hissing and like making snake noises. He's totally
making snake noises is pretty intense.
Yes. Yeah, he's totally making snake noises.
She just stays there. She's still like belly down and ears up and watching and listening.
He turns to you and say, "They have agreed to not bite you."
Well, that's good. And make it really hard to stay here.
Yes. Well, some animals have self-preservation instinct, but those here, they miss their mother. And, well, they get pretty territorial.
And they won't mind me being here? She'll finally
Uh,
start getting up slowly.
no, they're fed. They will probably sleep. Although, I think that curl under the pillows might actually think that your fur is actually quite attractive and think that it's a nice place to rest because it's hot.
Well, I guess as long as they don't bite me.
They won't.
They're just snakes.
They're African vipers.
Blink. What, really?
Yes. Ran brought them back from Africa.
Oh. Well, I'm sure this is really cold for them, so as long as they don't bite me, I don't care if they use me to stay warm.
Mm-hmm. All right. And I guess we're going to get some rest. You have a very interesting day tomorrow. I'm sure of it. Oh, and as he starts to curl and make his little bed, if you go outside the sept just to talk to Lucas, I will know about it.
She puts on a little bit of a sulk because I wouldn't lie. I'll do what you tell me.
Technically, it's not lying. I said that if you needed to go outside of the sept for reasons, you could. And obviously, you can go outside the sept as a lupus. Technically, it does not fall under the prerogative that you can't do that to talk to Lucas. But that might be actually something to give you the will to change part of your body. So see it as an exercise.
Okay.
He yawns. He goes, well, come. It's time to sleep.
And while she actually hasn't been sleeping at night but so much, she could totally take a nap. That's fine. Here's hoping Katori doesn't bite her when she ventures back out again. But she'll come and slip over and hunker down and curl up. At least she's warm. And Katori's
Yes.
warm.
Yes, dog pile.
Yes, she understands the concept of puppy pile, so she will get settled in, probably draped over one of his legs or something.
Mm.
She won't be invasive enough to go for full puppy pile, but assuredly sooner or later he's going to flop across her or something. So
And I guess just as the two the two Garus, not the two Lupuses, the two Lupus forms, are taking their naps, and as indeed a certain snake thinks that yes, a warm pile is indeed interesting. He's going to curl up and join the heat pile. I guess we can call it a scene. Thank you, player, for playing, watchers for watching, and we'll see you next time.